Voices against corruption. Let the people speak.
Hello and welcome to Primorg's public feedback series on corruption, called Voices Against Corruption. And we ask, how do you think corruption affects candidates' nomination process in political parties?
Absolutely, corruption affects candidate nomination. Actually, when the right candidate is being inhibited because of lack of funds to pursue his ambition, now it drives the whole situation now back to an angle of square pegs in round holes. You understand? Because you cannot really ascertain if the person with the right funds to fund their ambition is the person with the right resources, right, intellectual resources to handle or occupy the position.
Honestly, that's the political party. That one itself is the worst. Because before we are doing an election, you can come out and vote for your rights, and it's your right to come out and vote. But this time around, even if you vote from now to tomorrow, what they are doing in this country now is selection. They're just doing selection. Because you can come out in the morning, you vote, people vote, and you know that this is the right person, people vote, but at the end, you will see somebody from nowhere. They just select the person and put the person there, and you cannot do anything.
If you look at it, corruption is like a culture in Nigeria. But if the democracy is well enshrined in a political party, I'm sure to a large extent, the corruption will to a large extent reduce. Like, let's say, the issue of money bags in the selection process. If that, of course, is reduced, then we can say to a large extent the corruptions in the selection of nominations in political party will equally be reduced.
It affects the general public in what? In political parties in this way. One, is electoral rule observed? Political parties rule, is it observed? No, because they keep on going round a circle by what? Using the best, is it a choice of, they don't use choice of selection. They use money. And where do they get this money from? It is our fund. It is the fund that is made for you and I. Why will somebody, one person, keep on, he will be a chairman today, from local government chairman, he will loot fund. Maybe somebody, a governor of the state, put him there because he was his boy somewhere. It's not by merit, it's by money.
I would like to take you to the Election Petitions Tribunal. All those number of tribunals wouldn't have taken place if there is no corruption in the system. And you've seen how many have been won by petitioners that do feel that the wrong has taken place and they've been the victim of it. So I strongly believe that it affects, the Evidence Act. You can easily point to it.
You cannot really be able to get the right candidate for the right position. If somebody comes in a corrupt way to a position, you can't get the right candidate for the right position. And besides, if somebody bought a seat for any position, when it comes to power, he will definitely want to recover what he has paid for. So it becomes like a business.
Immediately after they have gained the office, they don't care about the masses anymore. They don't care if anybody leaves or not. You can only find few candidates that attend to their political zones. But immediately when they have gained the right of their office, you can only see them on windscreen, you can see them on television, they live on their houses, they don't care whether you live or not. So to me, corruption affects, because you promise people, you owe them the right of that office you are holding. If you elect somebody because of the money he has, you should definitely know that he will make sure he recover what he spent as at the time he was looking for that office, because he did not really want the office, he buy the office. So you should expect in returns that he must make sure he recover what he spent, as at that time he was pending for people to elect him to come back to office.
But of course, corruption is responsible for candidate election in a political party, in the sense that even when it is time for primary, you see them carrying Ghana must go up and down, you understand, bribing the top of political leaders, the chairman, the people that are first of the politics. You see the candidates lobby them up and down. And you know, if you lobby, they will not allow the younger one that don't have enough capital, enough money to the best person, the best candidate. You know, we are as at that stage, they are looking at the person that has enough funds to dish for them.
I contested for House of Rep from ASA, Ilorin West Federal Constituency, Kwara State. I am an independent candidate to say I did not believe in any godfatherism. So and I tried to follow the protocol and I aspired. But unfortunately, the people I campaigned to the grassroots, people wanted me, but the power that be have their choice. So I believe corruption played there because people want me, they voted, but they are not allowed their votes counted to materialize.
The manipulation, as regards to the nomination process is also corrupt. So by virtue of looking at the process alone, the corruption in the process, it tells a lot about the candidate. So we should look at it from the point of the processes. If the processes are done with due diligence, there is no basics bringing a corrupt person to the system. But because from inception to the finishing, all the processes are filled of corruption.
I think it's a broad spectrum, the way you want to look at it. Corruption inserts in all sense and intent of purpose, speaking with respect to candidate nomination. You have to first and foremost look at, do we have political ideology in Nigeria? If it does have political ideology, that means it's going to be a successive thing, power rotation, whereby from the way the structure has been set, people move. Let's say those in the generations of 60s will be looking forward to handing over to those coming in their 40s, 30s, and the rest of them. You groom people. That's where you have political structure setting. But what we have in Nigeria is where the man with the highest Ghana must go determines what happens. So I want to believe that I won't strictly call it corruption in all sense of speaking, but I will say the man with the highest, the deep pocket.
The corruption is too much between the politicians, because some of them, they have a godfather, and through the godfather they will demand and say, okay, when you reach there, now so amount I'll be collecting monthly.
Primox's public feedback on corruption in Nigeria is produced with support from MacArthur Foundation.